Hello and welcome to this episode of Chuck's Diecast and Model Reviews. Let's go ahead and take a look at this model and discuss this connection this model might have to me. I've been collecting models for over 20 years, and in fact this one is probably one of the first maybe half dozen models I ever got. This is a UT models McLaren F1 in 1/18th scale. I got this actually by mail order. I think it was from Speed Gear, and it's probably also one of the first things I ever ordered by mail order online, frankly. But I've always been fascinated with the McLaren F1 ever since I first read magazine articles about it back in probably the early 90s, and then of course when it set the speed record for a production car of 240 odd miles an hour back in the late 90s. That was just of course the coolest thing ever. But yeah, this is actually a pretty nice little model for its time. I really think the detail is pretty nice on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at it here. Okay, first of all, the front end, it does have a pretty nice detail here on the headlights and the turn signals and all that sort of stuff. The turn signals are decals, but still look pretty decent. The headlights do not pop up, but that's not a problem. The detail here on the side is nice. It's of course not the greatest detail here. Strangely enough, the brakes do not have calipers, so that would make it kind of tough for you to stop. But that is, again, something that UT models was considered sort of a mid-grade, I guess, model back in the day, and they didn't have much competition, so I guess they thought that they didn't need to put calipers on their brakes, and people would still buy it, suckers like myself. But let's go ahead and take a look at the back end here. Now, again, not bad detail there. You can see here that, of course, the engine bay pops open, showing that lovely BMW sourced V12 engine. Yeah, it's not too bad in terms of detail, as I said, compared to what else was available back then. You can see that it also has the windows there for the view out the back, and it also has well, let's see here, the pop-up rear wing that I can't remember what speed it popped up at, but in order to get yourself a little bit of downforce there. If you didn't know, the F1 storage compartment here for luggage is right here and on the other side. These do in the real car, of course, fold down in order to provide you a luggage space, and I think the luggage space goes all the way from one side. Well, I mean, it's fairly deep luggage anyway. It might go all the way through, but I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. Now, of course, the famous thing about the McLaren F1 is the fact that it is a three-seater with the seat in the middle. And looking at the interior, you can see it's actually not bad at all in there. The detail is pretty nice. The steering wheel appears to be to scale and all that sort of stuff, so it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You can see here the shifter is on the right side, so of course even if you live in England you'd still have to climb in on the left side, or unless you want to be going around that shift lever. And there's the seats. The triple seat setup there. You can see it has some seat belts in there, and and all that sort of stuff. A lot of the F1s did have contrasting seat color for the center seat, just to make it, that much more special, but this particular one does not. Okay, now I mentioned, that this is one of the first models that I've gotten, but I do have two other McLaren F1s, again, because the F1 is one of my favorite cars. And here is another one that I got just recently, honestly. And the reason why I got this one is for two reasons. One, because this is the Le Mans winner here from I believe 95. And you can see it was driven by J.J. Leto, Yannick Dalmas, and some other Japanese gentleman named Sakia, whose first name I do not know. But the reason why I got this one in particular is because I've actually seen this car. I saw this car, about, in 2019? It ran a few demonstration laps around Laguna Seca Raceway during the historic auto races that weekend. And cool thing about the driver was it was actually Formula One world champion Mika Hakkinen. So that was neat to see him run some demo laps out there. And then not only that, I actually was able to make it into the pit garage after the vehicle ran its laps, and got up close and personal there, or at least within 10 feet of Mika as he climbed out of the car. And boy, did this car sound special. I tell you, that V12 is an amazing sounding engine, and Mika was not loafing this car when he ran it around the track. The funny thing was when he got out of the car, he says, "Well, hey, did I break the lap record?" The grin on his face, but he definitely enjoyed himself running around the track. The interesting thing is that although this was the same car, when I saw the car, it actually had an extra pair of headlights mounted in this, what essentially would be the front trunk, and they were probably, like for Le Mans, endurance racing at night. So it did actually have a couple of extra headlights. The back end is, pretty similar to the other model in terms of detail. However, you may notice that the rear exhaust looks a little different than the road version. Of course, the rear wing is different, and this little rear wing does not pop up on the race version. The engine bay does look pretty much the same as the other stock version as well, and that's kind of why it was so cool that this car won the race. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one that I have, because I actually have three of them in this 1/18 scale, and they're all UT models, but this one is the 1996 Le Mans competitor, and it has a few differences from the previous version. One is, of course, the reason why I bought it, and that is those beautiful Gulf colors. Second difference is you'll see that the headlight treatment is a little bit different there. The headlights stick up a little bit higher, and they're under these Perspex bubbles. And you'll see as well that there is a larger air dam. But it still has the same rear wing, except it is a single element rear wing as opposed to a double element rear wing on the Ueno Clinic version. Although this one is also sponsored by Ueno Clinic, as you can see. And the rear end, again, the rear exhaust treatment is slightly different. Of course, actually I didn't show this on the other one, but you'll see here that instead of the 3 seats in there. Of course, there is only one seat for the single driver here, and also the cockpit is again pretty much the same as the stock, except stripped out. So you know, this one is well, in terms of all of these, I would love to see this one just because I do love the Gulf colors on it. I actually have seen at least 4 or 5 McLaren F1s, and that's something I consider myself very fortunate to do, considering they made less than 100 of them. But when it comes to these models itself, you know, I have to say that I'm pretty happy with them. You know, the terms of detail and all that sort of stuff. I'm not, you know, super duper picky or anything like that about my models. I just, you know, I just like to have them up on my shelf and enjoy them as they are. But at this point, you know, this is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll like it. And please come back and take a look at my other videos in the future. Take care and have a great day.